Antelope Valley College, Chief Sidnam, History 116. Hi, Professor John Weaver, in your class. Got my tyrant with me. Discussion 10. Technology. What is the differences between Vietnam and the modern technology? We can talk about planes, we can talk about missiles, we can talk about weapon systems, if that's the thing for the assignment for discussion 10. The other element was human. Ideology versus a bug hunt. You want to know about if air power would have solved the conflict in Vietnam? Let's face it, our technology was good at the time. But we would have, air power was meaningless to a point. I mean, carpet bombing, yeah, but we're talking about ideology. We're talking about a frame of mind. How the hell are you going to bomb that into non-existence? With a B-52 wave over the place? Blasting SAMs left and right, they get rebuilt. And they fired more missiles and knocked down more planes. We get more POWs in Hanoi Hilton. We're lucky enough we had some of the POWs back. But there had been always talk that there had been more back in Vietnam. Dead or alive. I don't know if we've got everyone back yet. I don't know if we actually will. But I know we were fighting an ideology, and we were fighting countries who had a similar ideology. Vietnam wanted their own government, their own form of communism. They didn't want China. They sure as hell didn't want anybody else's version, not even Russia's. So we were dealing with a guy who grew up in Vietnam, had 3 name changes, until we got Ho Chi Minh. And they celebrated Ho Chi Minh by naming a trail after him. And we had strict diplomatic guidelines. We couldn't cross borders. Hence, Laotians and Cambodians, they were helping out the Vietnamese, not to mention the Chinese. They had a coalition. We didn't. We lost. Compare that to the first Gulf War. We had a coalition. We had a person who were going to be going after to push his forces out of Kuwait because he was going to destabilize not just the peace, but if he actually did have weapons of mass destruction, it went more than that. But it was also destabilizing economics. Did anybody think of that one? No, we had to think about U.S. air power. We had to think about was decisive air power able to secure the U.S. objectives. Well, from every other damn coalition member who was flying in the fighters, was there an advantage between air and ground? No, because they're also equally utilized, or in aspects of it anyway. You still need a ground forces to maneuver these guys. So what was going on? Holy moly. That was crazy. I did my portions of them in a discussion. But at times, I wish these students would go outside the box, you know? It sounds like they're doing the echo chamber. Because every time I kept reading it, it's always the echo chamber, and they're thanking the echo chamber. I'm like, what? You guys don't have a difference of opinion? Maybe I'm different, Professor. Because I'm old, I've seen too much, talked about too much crap. Read books, seen videos. I wasn't the guy paying attention much in history classes, but I tried. All it kept telling me is names, dates, battles. We covered Revolutionary War. We covered Civil War. We covered the War of 1812 in K through 12. We covered up to the point of Vietnam. Barely covered Korea in K through 12. Vietnam was too fresh, too new. And the Cold War was there, ending, but we were all living through it. The Gulf War came, and everyone was talking about what? No, the politicians, I think, were talking about. Because nobody else I remember was talking about it. Vietnam syndrome bullshit. The fear of it. Oh, good Lord. We lost our mojo. We had to have smaller missions here to retrain our mojo. And then we had this major war. Oh my God, we have major mojo problems. Can't get our mojo going. Give me a frickin' break. Fear of it? No, what they were fearing was a long-term scale war. Give them about another decade and somebody pissing us off really. Then we got our mojo and ready to kick someone's ass for nearly 10 years or over 10 years, and body bags increasing and injuries, blood, death, people having PTSD issues left and right, suicides happening. But yeah, in the process, let's see, Gaddafi was already dead. We didn't have to worry about him. Saddam got beheaded. That was cool. In Afghanistan, in Obama's term, we found the asshole mastermind. The whole team of SEALs claimed the shot. One asshole had to go beyond some things you just don't do. Other things you can't. Academics, Professor Sidnam, are one thing. You're told to look at a book because the book might get you the answers you need for this particular question over here. Really? I was told otherwise. I learned otherwise. If one book couldn't get you the answer and you couldn't even figure out the damn thing, find another source. You can find the answer that way, fine, use it. But use it in conjunction with the other sources of God, see if you can make something of a hodgepodge. But at least you get something going. But nowhere in discussion 10 was the Donaldson book specified. It wasn't even. It was not even. What can I say? I'm going to deal with it. She's trying to sleep and I'm not letting her until later. But what can I say? I looked at the stuff. I'd seen what was going on. How else am I not supposed to look at it? How else am I not supposed to be able to deal with it? They all think one particular book is going to give them the answer. Shit, come on. I'm dealing with students who haven't gone beyond because they hadn't been taught how to go beyond the books. They need to be educated that way. If they're coming out of high school only just focusing on specific items to get the research without going further, how the hell are they going to be able to do it in the higher learning if they can afford it? You heard about California, UC, and then CSUN or CSU? If they're going to be able to afford it through the loans, and maybe a few grants, gets worse and worse every year. Gets worse and worse. No wonder students are having issues. I'm on grants because I qualify. There are certain criteria. Food stamps, Medi-Cal, Medicare, disability. And it's out there. That's how I've been going through the past 10 years. Educating myself. Hopefully that one day it's going to be useful. Hopefully. I just wanted to touch base, Professor. Get this stuff sent out. I'll be ready for number 10. Actually, tonight's the last night for 10. I already got my work. I already got my replies in. So we'll see how 11's going. We'll see if we're going to be going into the Generation Kill book and see what's going on through that one, shall we? Or worse off. Do we go further than that? Do we go in Afghanistan? Because Generation Kill only covers Iraq. It doesn't cover Afghanistan, so back to the Donaldson book, I guess we go. I know there is a name out there in the SEAL community. It's already been disbanded and dishonored, discredited. As I said before, the entire community claims to kill for Osama bin Laden, but not one guy gets the honor. Oh, one guy may have pulled a trigger on Osama, but the whole team gets the credit. That's how it works. I don't think these students ever thought about that one either. Guess I don't think they even heard about it. My brother had been in the military. He talked to a hell of a lot of people in the military. And when you're a vet and you talk to a lot of people in the military, an outsider will be able to glean stuff as long as I've got my ears open and hearing all the stories coming from other people. I don't get to read or see documents. I get to hear from the horse's mouth. That being said, have a good night.